Welcome back to the Fairy Garden Discoveries, where STEM takes flight. Mella believed the most important things in the garden were rarely the ones you could see. While flowers reached for the sun and bees danced in the air, Mella listened to the quiet places, the hidden spaces, and the soft work happening out of sight. Every day, the garden was solving problems, sharing resources, and responding to change. You just had to know where to look. Today, Mella was listening to the ground. Mella loved the garden most where no one ever looked. While bees danced above and leaves stretched toward the sun, Mella drifted low, hovering just above the soil. "Everyone watches the flowers," she whispered. "But I wonder what's happening underneath." She knelt beside a tomato plant and pressed her ear to the ground. At first, there was only quiet. Then, shft, tap, tap. Scooch Mella's eyes widened. Was that movement? Beneath the soil, something wiggled, something stretched, and something cleared its throat in a very important way. "Excuse me," said a tiny voice. "You're standing in the root lane." Mella gasped. "The roots can talk?" With a shimmer of fairy magic, Mella shrank just enough to slip beneath the soil without disturbing a crumb. Suddenly, she was standing in a busy underground world. Roots twisted and branched like roads. Some were thin and quick, others thick and steady. "Watch the tips," shouted a carrot root. "Mind the moisture zone," grumbled a beet. Roots stretched outward, gently pushing through soil, splitting into smaller roots as they went. "We spread to explore," explained a calm oak root nearby. "The farther we grow, the more water and nutrients we can find." A very thin root zipped past Mella. "I'm scouting," it yelled. "If I find water, I'll tell everyone." Mella smiled. So roots don't just hold plants in place, they search. Mella followed the roots as they branched again and again, forming a wide underground network. "Why so many directions?" she asked. "Because the soil is full of surprises," said the oak root. "Some places are dry, some are rich, some are crowded." Nearby, a strawberry root bumped into a lettuce root. "Oh, pardon me," said the strawberry. "No worries," replied lettuce. "Shared soil is good soil." Mella noticed how roots bent around stones, slipped through soft earth, and slowed down in tough patches. "We feel our way forward," explained the oak root. "We sense water, nutrients, and space." A root nearby groaned. "Ugh, clay again." Mella giggled. Even underground, everyone had opinions. A sudden slurp echoed through the soil. "Water!" shouted several roots at once. Thin roots rushed toward the sound, stretching faster. Thicker roots followed more slowly. "When rain comes," said the oak root, "we grow toward it." Roots respond to what the plant needs most. A tiny root waved proudly. "I found it first." "Yes, yes," muttered another. "We all benefit." Mella watched as water traveled along the roots, moving upward toward stems and leaves. "So the roots drink first," she said softly. "Exactly," replied the oak root. "We're the plant's underground helpers." One root whispered loudly, "And the hardest workers." Several roots nodded in agreement. As Mella explored farther, she noticed roots touching. Not fighting, but pausing, adjusting, and sharing space. "We communicate," explained a mushroom thread weaving between roots. "We pass signals through the soil." "Signals?" Mella asked. "Yes," said the mushroom. "Warnings, help requests, sometimes encouragement." A root suddenly called out, "Dry patch ahead, slow growth recommended." Roots adjusted their paths instantly. Another root muttered, "See? If someone listened earlier, we wouldn't be cramped." Mella laughed. "It's like a neighborhood meeting down here." "Exactly," said the mushroom. "A very polite one." mostly. Mella spotted a young plant struggling above ground. Its leaves drooped sadly. Down below, its roots buzzed with concern. "Not enough water," said one. "Low nutrients," said another. "Everyone pitch in," said a third. Nearby roots shared what they could, passing water and nutrients through the underground network. "We help when we can," said the oak root. "Healthy neighbors make a healthier garden." One root whispered dramatically, "I gave everything yesterday." "You gave a drop," replied another. Mella watched, amazed. "So plants don't grow alone," she said. "No," the oak root replied. "We grow together." Suddenly, crunch! The soil trembled as something stepped above. "Foot traffic!" yelled a root. Roots flattened, curved, and pressed closer to the soil. "When the ground gets compacted," explained the oak root, "it's harder for us to breathe and grow." A root sighed. "I hate heavy boots." Mella floated upward just enough to see Olivia carefully stepping between plants. "She's trying," Mella said kindly. "Yes," said the oak root. "Careful gardeners help roots stay healthy." A root added, "And maybe remind her where the paths are." Mella nodded. She'd make sure of that. Mella followed the roots toward a rocky area. Growth slowed here. "We don't give up," said the oak root. "We adapt." Roots curved around stones, splitting into thinner paths. A root complained, "I was aiming straight." "Detours build character," replied another. Mella touched a root gently. "You're very patient," she said. "We have to be," said the oak root. "Roots grow slowly but steadily." She realized that while leaves reached quickly for the sky, roots took their time, building strong foundations below. "That's how plants stay standing," Mella whispered. "And how gardens stay balanced," replied the roots. Mella noticed different plants had very different root styles. Carrots plunged deep. Grass spread wide and shallow. Trees anchored themselves firmly. "Every plant chooses a strategy," said the oak root. A carrot root bragged, "I go straight down, no nonsense." Grass replied, "I cover ground, efficiency." Mella smiled, "So there's no one right way." "Exactly," said the oak root. "Root systems match the plant's needs and environment." A small root piped up, "And personality." Mella laughed. She'd never thought of roots as having personalities, but now she could see it. As evening approached, the soil grew cooler. Root activity slowed. "We rest too," explained the oak root. "Growth changes with temperature and light." A root yawned. "Night shift tomorrow." Mella felt the calm of the underground world. "So even when nothing moves above ground," she said, "roots are still working, or resting, below." "Yes," said the oak root, "life continues, even when unseen." A quiet root added, "Best work happens without applause." Mella tucked that thought away carefully. Before leaving, Mella asked, "What should gardeners know about roots?" The roots murmured together, "Water deeply. Don't compact the soil. Leave space. Be patient." One root cleared its throat. "And maybe say, 'Thank you' once in a while." Mella placed her hand over her heart. "I will." She rose gently back toward the surface, the soil closing softly behind her. Above ground, the garden looked the same. Leaves, stems, flowers glowing in the sunset. But Mella knew better now. Below every plant was a busy world of searching, sharing, sensing, and supporting. She smiled as she watched Olivia water carefully. "Good technique," whispered a root proudly. Mella laughed. The roots really did notice everything. That night, as the garden slept, Mella fluttered once more above the soil. She felt the quiet hum beneath her wings. Roots stretching. Roots resting. Roots talking softly underground. Thank you, Mella whispered. A faint voice replied, You're welcome. Mind the root lane. She grinned. Mella flew home knowing the garden was never truly silent. Beneath every step and seed was a living network. Roots spreading, responding, and working together. And though they were hidden from view, they shaped everything above. Mella promised herself she would always remember. Strong growth begins underground. Somewhere below, a root whispered, and don't forget, deep watering on Tuesdays. Mella laughed all the way to the moon.